The wind, the waves, it is wavy right now. Listen, it's getting dark. It looks like it's going to rain. I'm out here on the kayak. I'm talking fights with you folks here with Fight Night Picks. As always, Craig Allen at Craig Allen FNP. And when we look at our next fight, this one at light heavyweight. It's a light heavyweight debut of Kyle's brother. It's Chris Daukaus. A couple of main events to his name in the UFC. And he's taking on the Ultimate Fighter finalist. Wasn't successful. Khalil Rountree Jr. And when you look at it, both of these guys combined 5 Performance of the Night bonuses, and Chris Daukaus burst onto the scene, maybe not even in the UFC debut, taking on Parker Porter, but beating Rodrigo Nascimento as a big underdog, and that really set things up. Couple of knockdowns in that fight, he continued to win. Couple of knockdowns against Shamil Durkimov, but for Chris Daukaus, it's been a rough road in his last 3 fights. He's lost all 3, and then you flip the other side of the coin, look at Khalil Rountree. 3 straight wins, he's looked amazing. The Carl Robertson fight was the one where he's dropping Robertson. I counted 4 knockdowns in that fight. UFC, I think, only credited him with maybe 2 of them, but if you watch that one, that's a performance bonus. The soccer kicks, it was crazy. But for Rountree, his last time out, he takes on Dustin Jacoby, and he won a very controversial split decision in that one. And that's the trouble with Carl Robertson. And that is the trouble, I guess, with Khalil Rountree Jr. as well. What version of Rountree do we ultimately get? Because for Rountree, it can be all or nothing, or it can be the reserved version with a little bit of volume striking, like we saw with Khalil when he took on Jacoby and when he took on Marcin Prachnio. And if you look at it overall for both of these guys, you consider it for Rountree. 3 wins in a row. The Bukauskas oblique kick, he looked like his mean self. The fight against Robertson was great, performance bonus. I mean, opens it up with a big time. The first round was a dogfight. And then in the second round, it was a left cross, it was a right hook, it was a knee, and then it was another hook. Those are the 4 knockdowns that I counted. But the craziest part about it for me when I look at this fight is not just is this Daukaus' debut at light heavyweight, and he was a guy that would weigh in. It was 242.5 his last time out. You saw like mid 230s for him as well. So maybe the cut's not going to be too bad. For Tanner Boser, it took him 1 to get acclimatized. He lost D1 Kutsalaba. And then for Boser's last time out, he gets a win against Alexa Camera last weekend. But when you look at this one, I mean, for Daukaus, it's a lot of boxing. And this is the craziest thing that I counted for him. 7 UFC fights, 9 leg kicks for Daukaus. You see him in main events against Derek Lewis, against Curtis Blades. You see him wearing the headgear in training, sparring with brother Kyle. It's going to be interesting to see what version we get. Performance bonuses for Chris Daukaus against Nascimento, Oleinik, and Durkimov. A big-time fight in this one. And Matt and I split on the pick. I'm going to go with Carl Robertson to get the win because I think the leg kicks are a huge determining factor. I like the fact that Rountree is on this big win streak, and I like the fact that Rountree is a little bit more acclimatized at light heavyweight. So Matt going with Chris Daukaus in this one. Really like to get your thoughts on it. The wind is picking up. We have some big time fights in the card coming up this weekend. I mean, the main event, Luque taking on RDA. You're not going to want to miss any of it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, as we always say. Let's get into it.